We're going to go ahead and get started here. First of all, thank you for coming in today and taking time to learn about what internal workforce development model looks like for an organization. But before I get started, I just want to go over how impressed I am with the organizational structure of what I'm seeing at this event. I go to a lot of events and I see the different ways they are coordinated and orchestrated, so I want to give RCAT a big shout out for that. And if you're actively involved with the organization, you should give yourself a pat on the shoulder for that. And if you're not actively involved, it might be something that you want to immerse yourself in. I believe if you're in the industry, you might as well immerse yourself in it and let it just kind of wrap around you. So I want to start off with a story. I used to be a director at a vocational high school in right outside of Cleveland, Ohio, and we had 26 different programs ranging from plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, carpentry, masonry, welding fabrication, machining, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you name it. My background is the concrete trades. When I came into that school as a director, we started thinking about, what is it that we do, what is it that they do in Germany that we're not doing here, that we're getting these students into the trades at the age of 9th grade and 10th grade, and everyone was like, oh, we can't do that, we can't do that. And I'm like, there's got to be a loophole. There's got to be something somewhere that says, if you're under the age of 18, we can get you in the trades. So I started doing some digging, and I finally found it. Section 4109 of the Ohio Revised Code stated, if you were enrolled in a state-certified vocational program, you were exempt from all minor labor laws in the state of Ohio. Boom. That's huge, right? So the roofing contractors that I was working with, the plumbers and the pipe fitters, I finally found a way that I could get in within their organizations. They said, no, we can't touch 18 and older. Right here in the Ohio Revised Code, it says, any student that's enrolled in a state certificate. We got 1,300 students in this school, and they all want to go into the trades. So we figured it out, so I want you to picture this. In Ohio, we have what are called vocational tech centers, where students from 13 different school districts, average school district might have 300 graduating seniors, okay? They're picking from 26 programs. They're going to that school to learn a skill or a trade. So we figured that out. We created the Lorain County Summer Internship Program. We had 126 students going into their senior year, working with 76 different companies from 13 different school districts, pumping over $250,000 back into the local economy in just 3 months. Students that are working for roofing companies, students that are working for manufacturing companies, students that are working for HVAC companies. They said it couldn't be done. Well, we got it done. So from there, we started to create these workforce development models with companies on how to attract talent. Because guess what? Like where I come from, everyone knows who Sherwin-Williams is. Everyone knows who American Greetings is. Everyone knows who Ford Motor Company is. But no one knows who Franciscus Roofing is. They didn't. Why? Because it just wasn't on their tongue. They just didn't see it at home. Maybe mom was a financial advisor at a bank and dad was a general manager at McDonald's. So guess what? It's not in my perspective. It's not in my realm. So I don't want to, if I'm a company, I don't want to be the best kept secret anymore. If you're the best kept secret, that's not a great model for attracting talent. So with that being said, look, there is no secret sauce in here today. It's just tidbit after tidbit after tidbit that maybe you're going to take this, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this. But before we get into that part, I want you to know that you as the employer, you still have the upper hand. Even though it's a job seeker's market, it's important that you uphold the standards of your company. And I'll talk about that later, because it's really easy in a job seeker's market to say, but I can't afford to lose this guy. I got jobs coming up. So let's keep that bench, that pipeline busy with potential talent. But before we get into that, there's a video. I found this video like 12 years ago, so it's a little bit antiquated, but I bless you. But I love the video. I think it gets across a point that you, the employer, still have the upper hand, okay? So I'm gonna show this video real quick, and then we'll just talk about it. It's about 2-3 minutes long. Hopefully it works.
Because I earned it.
I deserve a job because I pay a lot of money to go to college.
I am entitled to a job because I've worked hard and gone to school.
Do you deserve a job after you graduate? Absolutely.
I deserve it. I'm in grad school now.
An employer owes me a good job, decent benefits so that I can live, and health insurance.
A little over $25 an hour.
30 to 40,000 a year.
At least 40,000.
Oh, at least 60,000.
70 to 80,000 a year.
Like 100 grand, yeah.
I deserve 7 figures per year.
At the Roxy boy.
I am an employer.
I am an employer.
I am an employer, and I have jobs.
Good jobs.
Good job. And I'm hiring.
But if you want to work for me,
You need to know how I really feel.
You see, I am entitled.
I am entitled.
I am entitled.
I'm entitled to you arriving here to the job on time.
Every day until the very last minute of your shift.
And if you're scheduled at 9,
And arrive at 9?
You're late.
I am entitled to you being positive and enthusiastic as you approach the task you are assigned.
Regardless of what they are.
Or anything that may have happened to you before you came to work.
I get it. I have no right to say how you dress, communicate, or act on your own time.
However, while you're at work, I'm entitled to you being a professional.
And acting and speaking like one.
Showing up dressed and groomed in a way that best represents this organization.
And the image that we need to project to our clients and to the world.
I'm entitled to you doing the work you are paid to do to the very best of your ability.
And then some.
The only way this business is going to grow and provide opportunity for you to grow with it is if you're continually looking for ways to excel,
Achieve.
Solve problems.
and add value whenever and wherever you can. I'm entitled to your respect for my rules, whether or not you agree with them.
I want you to enjoy working here and like your managers.
But that's not a condition of your willingness to follow company policies.
I am entitled to the truth.
And yes, I can handle the truth.
So if you're not ill, please don't call in sick.
If you handle money or merchandise, every cent must be accounted for.
If you lie, cheat, steal, fudge,
Or hook a buddy up. Even once.
The trust I need to have in you will forever be in question.
But it's our customers who are even more entitled.
They're the ones who pay our wages and keep this business running.
that entitles them to fast, friendly, and courteous service.
From everyone in this organization.
So you need to go out of your way to show them how much we appreciate their business.
So if you agree to this list of entitlements, then you're not only entitled to a paycheck,
You're entitled to me living up to these same high standards.
But hey, if you feel like we're asking for too much,
Then you're entitled to look for another employer that will not ask these things of you.
But the odds of you finding one aren't good.
Sorry. All right. So remember, you, the employer, you set the standard. Right now, we're in a job seekers market where poaching is going on left and right. People are saying, I can go to another organization for X amount of dollars, blah, blah, blah. That's what you're dealing with right now. So what I want to talk about today is basically developing an internal workforce development model for your company. So you're going to, by the end of this today, I want you to understand what that looks like. I also want you to understand the values in holding up what I call the 3 R's in any organization: respect, ready, and responsibility. And finally, I want you to have some kind of baseline idea or baseline plan for what that should look like when you leave here today. I don't know why this isn't working. Did I do something with this? The remote? Oh, there we go. I'm going the wrong way. So, it starts off with a time frame, right? We want to look at what is the overall environment and context. So, for example, we're looking at 2023. And what do we want? We want increased workforce recruitment. We want to promote a positive brand of our company. And we want to celebrate our successes that lead to retention. These are like 3 baseline goals, for example, for a workforce development model. The infamous drawer. So many times I've done workforce development plans within companies, and within 6 months it just goes right in the top drawer. You have to dedicate yourself to this, or you have to dedicate someone in the organization to it, or you need to hire an outside consultant. Most companies have an office manager / HR manager, and they just don't have the bandwidth to work on something like this. So you have to find that dedicated person. There we go. So, I want to understand a little bit about everyone in this room. So, TPS, this goes back to, I think like 3rd grade maybe? Think, pair, share, okay? So, I have three goals up here. Number 1 is to increase workforce recruitment. Number 2 is to promote a positive, consistent brand. And number 3, are we celebrating our successes for retention? Number 1, are we celebrating our employees? Are we celebrating our accounts? Are we celebrating new equipment? Are we celebrating work sites? Remember, for the end user in this industry, without what we do, there wouldn't be the huge Cleveland Clinic where I live, which is one of the biggest hospital organizations in the world. We wouldn't have all these buildings around us right here. That's the end user. But without us, this isn't happening. So what I would like you to do is just take some time, if it's with the person that's next to you or whoever it might be, and just kind of talk about these 3 things. What do you believe is something that you're currently doing in your organization that helps promote one of these 3 goals? I'll give you one, okay? One of the things that we're doing right now is, say I'm out at a restaurant or a bar, or I'm at a football game, and I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, hey, how you doing, Kevin? Nice to meet you, man. What kind of work you do, Kev? You're in the roofing business. Okay, cool. So am I. I do a lot. I just want to let you know, and usually it's not with a person that's in the roofing business, but it could be something like, man, I'm just kind of in between jobs right now. Okay, cool. Well, and I'll do this at like gas stations all the time. To me, I gotta watch what I say. It's kind of like dating, right? My wife says I was very persistent. Like, dating is trying, you might, don't, you won't. If you ask the girl out, you might get a date. If you don't, you won't. Well, I see someone at a gas station, look like they're in the trades, and I'll start chatting them up. So what I have is I have a business card with a QR code on it. And I'll say, look, man, and this just happened the other day. I'll say, look, man, if you're ever looking, I'm just gonna give you my card. Just scan the QR code on the back. It'll take you to a contact link. Just hit me up and let me know if you're looking, because I'm telling you right now, we got about 10 openings right now at our company. It's gotta be 1 click away easy. It has to be that easy. So that if they just, prior to COVID, what the heck, QR codes? Nobody knew about it. Nobody was using QR codes. They were played. So that's one thing that I like to do, is have that card. So what I'd like you to do is kind of just think about something that you're doing in your space, in your company, to promote either workforce recruitment, to promote your brand. Like, are you posting 2 or 3 times a week on social media projects? Number 3, are you celebrating your successes? Are you celebrating anniversaries? Do you do anything cool? So I want you to take about 3 minutes And I just want to have kind of a think, pair, share with that, okay? Cool? Any questions? All right, you got 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And it's kind of cool to talk to people from other organizations. So, are you guys are a manufacturer or roofing company? Okay, cool, awesome. And how many colleagues do you have? Would you say?
Well, in our residential department, he just started a few weeks ago with myself, and then another sales guy who's out of town right now. So
Cool.
right now, we're actually in the process of increasing our department.
Right, and it's, I always say the job market is anarchy. You can do whatever you want. You can say, to people like, hey, like I do it all the time. And like if I'm at a gas station or if I'm on a job site, like I'm going to talk the talk. So I'll let you guys, and they're in the public adjusting side. So they do, yeah. So. Think of maybe something cool you're doing, something you do to celebrate workforce anniversaries within your company. Think about some cool equipment that you might have just got. Are you celebrating your accounts that you do frequent work with? This is key. So you guys mainly commercial, residential, mix of both? Commercial? Okay. Okay. How many total employees about? Okay, nice. And you guys are franchised through it? And you're split 50-50 or? Okay. All right. All right. Anybody out there doing something cool they want to share? Something like I just spoke about with the QR code. Anybody doing anything cool within their organization they'd be willing to share? Not too quick. Anybody? How are you celebrating your colleagues? How are you celebrating your work sites? Are you? No? No? Okay. Are you?
Yes, we do posting online and do the big jobs.
So you can, okay.
But I'm in spot.
Good. So you're posting online. You're posting before and after pictures. Are you getting anybody in here getting testimonials from your colleagues? Right? Testimonials. Anyone doing Google reviews? Right? So you are doing some cool stuff. I need to hear from you. Right? So these are the things that you want to be thinking about as you get into this workforce development model, because at some point you have to start looking at not only your opportunities but your strengths. Woo. Come on, Beth. All right, you don't want to work. All right, cool. Everything kind of froze. Okay. So look at the demographics of your company. Right now, you have to ask yourself, is it all skilled labor? Is it administrative support? Is it management? Is it safety? Is it sales? What makes up your team? Do you have all this in-house? Or do you have to consult with some of it externally? And is there something in there? I met a guy this week that deals in safety, and after talking to him all last night, he's definitely somebody I would recommend from a consulting side. How much does it cost a company to hire a safety director? We know what that is. The next step is we need to look at the stigma. What is the stigma of the industry? What are the myths of the industry? What are the wages that you're paying within your organization? New markets are huge when it comes to recruiting talent. In Cleveland, where I'm from, Cleveland, Ohio, it is all about healthcare and IT. It is healthcare IT, healthcare IT. The construction trades, you guys go do your thing. All the federal money coming in, it's all health and IT. So we have to understand who is trying to infiltrating our market in the trades. And that's why organizations like this are so huge for you to be involved in. What's the reality of the job? So if I'm applying with someone in the roofing industry, doesn't mean I'm going to be on top of the roof. I could be on the manufacturing side. I could be on the sales side. I could be on the adjusting side. I could be on the administrative side. There's so many different avenues of the job I could be applying for. And then public awareness. I keep going back to that. Celebrate. Like, I'm looking out here and I'm like, okay, we worked on that. My dad was a ready mix driver growing up. My dad drove ready mix for 40 years. Every single day on the highway on vacation. Hey, Billy, I poured that driveway. Hey, Billy, I did that highway. Hey, Billy, we did that building. We need more public awareness about what we do, because without us, what happens without us? No, exactly. Exactly. Come on. Nope. All right. So when we look at our future workforce profile, one of the things that we really have to be cognizant of is kind of this millennial workforce. I went through and did a study. I felt the best place to do the study would be at a hospital, because in a hospital you have maintenance, you have culinary, you have dietary, you have nursing, you have doctors. And we wanted to look at the millennial mindset. And what we found from that study is that just like in your companies, like you said, you guys have 60 employees over there, right? Something like that. You're somewhere around that too. You'll hear a lot of times people say, oh man, you got it easy. You do this, you do that. You do. Or you'll hear a lot of times people talking about, in our department, we don't do it that way. But what we found was that millennials it's not as much about the money within organizations. It's about finding out where their position connects within the company. So if you're in IT, or if you're in sales, or if you're in customer service, or if you're in the labor side, where do I connect in that cycle? And that was huge because it helped them acknowledge the company's core values. Every company needs to have core values, especially in this supply and demand market. We have a low supply of talent and a high demand right now. How many times have you said, oh my gosh, if I just had a few more people, we could be knocking it, we could be doing more jobs and more jobs. Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. So when you start thinking about these types of markets, it'll help you understand how important having your own training model is, okay? All right, brand loyalty. You have to celebrate your own. You have to celebrate your people. It's important that on a work anniversary, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, that you do something, even if it's just putting a Starbucks card in their truck. Or even, give shout outs on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. It's really easy to do social media updates at least 2 to 3 times a week. And you don't have, if you want to keep your business in-house about the jobs that you're doing, post about your colleagues. Meet the colleagues. What are their interests? Who are they? Who makes up my company? Really important that you have some kind of social media presence. This could be testimonials from companies. This could be anything from onboarding new employees. It could be about posting about cool new job sites. I would have started establishing team meetings within your company. You want to have an ambassador team. Somebody that, if you're a smaller company, it'd probably be somebody from the labor side and somebody from the management side. If you're a bigger company, you're going to want somebody from sales. You got to think of the pillars within the organization, and you should be meeting, whether it's quarterly or weekly or monthly. That's up for you to decide, okay? But if you cancel those meetings, make sure you have a hard stop on the calendar as a reschedule. If you don't, it just shows that it's not important. Exactly. You want to establish recruitment partners. For us in Cleveland, we work with the Latino Construction Program. We work with the Urban League. We work with the Career Tech Centers. We work with the Department of Corrections. We work with Ohio Means Jobs. We work with the Career Tech Centers. Chunk this down into threes. Figure out who your 3 partners are going to be. Try them. Evaluate them. They may work, they may not. So don't take this the wrong way. When I first came here, we were having a conversation, right? And I was like, what do you do, Ron? And he kind of told me, and I said, you know what, and we said, that industry isn't that big in Cleveland, right? Ron, you're an adjuster, correct? It's not big in Cleveland. I had no clue. So my perspective totally changes. So if I'm looking for people in that industry, then I want to start connecting in these different spaces. Like maybe I'm going to try and connect with a local high school and connect with their guidance department. Maybe I'm probably not going to set up a table at a career fair because I just feel like it's just too competitive of a market that you're competing against individuals who are looking for sales representatives, and you have every tchotchke on the table that somebody's just interested more than that. So, what do we know about our partners? What more would we like to know our partners? So what I'd like you to do is, is anybody, and I don't want you to give up your secret sauce, but is anybody working with any partners right now? Does anybody have anybody where you're getting a pipeline or a stream of talent from consistently? Local realtors. Okay. Tell me about that. Okay. Have they ever called you about talent? Or like somebody that's looking for a job or anything like that? So if you have a relationship with a realtor, and tell me your first name again? Gerald. You know, he can put it out there that, hey, if you're ever talking to somebody and they are looking in the market, I'll give you a referral fee. Right? If they stay more than 90 days with me, I'll give you a referral fee for $2,500 or $650. Why not? Does anyone have referral fees within their organization? You guys do? Okay. That's a great idea. And how long do they have to stay to get that referral? Is it 180 days, 90 days, or is it kind of partitioned out?
It's partitioned out. So they get $500 for 90 days, 6 months.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
$500 for 90 days, another $500 for 6 months, and then final $500.
Wow. So $1,500 referral bonus. That's nice. Anyone else doing referral bonuses that you know of? It's a great way to entice people. Why not? Like, if I'm out somewhere and I got that QR code card on me and I can just give it to that guy, I barely had to do anything. Right? What about anyone else working with any specific partners, though? Does anyone use any of these? Do you connect with your career tech centers? Do you connect with your high schools? Are you connecting with universities, faith-based organizations? Anybody? And a lot of you will say, I don't have time for that. Right? I'm busy. So that's where sometimes a consultant, or sometimes if you charge your office manager with that task, maybe he or she just doesn't know what the expectation is. You know, challenge them to that. All right. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, okay? So, we want to think about retention now, keeping your employees. So this is me. The first picture is actually me as a dad. Somebody said, "Are you a pilot in that picture?" No, that's me in my car. My 3-year-old has the loudest screaming lungs you could imagine when she cries. And I say, "Give me my shooting muffs," and I put them on. The second picture is me. I'm a professional sporting clays shooter. I shoot all over the country. It's my other passion. My third picture is me going on family vacations in Michigan with my family. When you bring in a new colleague, or when you hire somebody, or when you're onboarding those new colleagues, I can't tell you enough how important this is to have entry meetings. What I mean by entry meetings is, without the paycheck or the money that I earn, I wouldn't be able to do any of this that you see up there. I wouldn't be able to have kids and support them. I wouldn't be able to spend the money that I do professionally on shooting. I wouldn't be able to go on vacation. So your companies, not only do they provide a paycheck, but you have to figure out the vision that it provides for your colleagues. Let me say that one more time. Figure out the vision that it provides for your colleagues. So for example, I hire Tony. I bring Tony and I said, "Tony, let me sit you down. I know you're making $40,000 a year salary, or I'm paying you $25 an hour. I get it. That's a paycheck. But I want to know, what is it that this is providing you outside of a paycheck?" "Well, you know, Bill, I'm starting a family and I want to buy a house. I've also been driving this 1999 Buick LeSabre Hoopty for 10 years now, and I want to buy a new car. And I also want to be able to send my students to preschool, my kids to preschool at some point." As soon as I know the vision of the employee, I got them. I got them hooked. So it's up to you when you hire these new colleagues. I don't care who they are. You know, we all get some tough-minded people, some people that have been through some stuff. You got to figure out, what is it outside of a paycheck that this position provides he or she. Once you understand their vision, you can ask yourself, does their discipline match their vision? "Tony, what's going on, man? You haven't been showing up for work. When you told me you started with this company, that you were working hard so you could get a new car, that you could get a new house, and you could provide preschool. Your discipline isn't matching your vision, and I'm trying to keep you at this company, but we're not connecting. You're not upholding the standard of our company." Someone give me the standard of your company in this room. What's our standard? Integrity. Someone else give me another standard of their company. What was it? Excellence. What else? Proactive. Every company has 3 types of employees. You have the relentless character, and you see Freddy Krueger up there. When you saw him, you're probably, "Well, what the heck is this?" So think about it. If you grew up and you saw Nightmare on Elm Street as a kid, you could chop Freddy's left arm off. You could chop his ankle off, but no matter what, he's coming back for more. You could throw any job at this person, and no matter what, they're coming back for more. In every one of your organizations, you know who those relentless employees are, or colleagues, right? You know who they are. You can think off the top of your head. Give me a name on one of them. Give me a first name. Go. Jason. Give me a first name. Who? Bento. So we all know we have these. Then we have our energy vampires. They suck the life out of us, but we keep them because we know we don't have any other talent in the pipeline. Right? Right? I see you laughing, shaking your heads. Then we have our diva. And I wanted to put a picture of Kanye West up here or Kim Kardashian or something, but I was afraid I would offend people, so I couldn't figure out what I wanted to post. A diva in the workplace is someone who's killing it. They're good at what they do, but dang, do they need praise. They need stroked all the time. And you know who they are. So this is a good assignment that you can do within your organization, within your leadership team, to start to understand, okay, who's my relentless employees? Who are my divas within the organization? And who are the energy vampires within my organization? Right? And you got to ask yourself, are they understanding vision, discipline, standard? It's the easiest way. If you have to evaluate people in the workplace formally once a year or twice a year, hey, Tony, I remember when you came in this year, you told me that this position was going to provide you not only a paycheck, but it was going to provide you a new car, a new house. And dude, you got 14 tardies to work and 7 absences. Your discipline isn't matching your vision. You're not upholding the standard within our company. Therefore, I can't give you the 2% you want this year or the 3%. You don't deserve it. Right now, you're an energy vampire. You are sucking the life out of me. Okay, I get it. Does that make sense? Yes? No? If you, in exit interviews, what the heck is an exit? I don't want to know why you're leaving my company. I should have had an entry interview to help understand what's keeping you at my company. So you have to monitor this process. It's so easy with day to day to just put this in a drawer and not roll with it. You got to have a team of ambassadors that are going to meet on this. You have a team of people that you're going to work with on this specific workforce development model for your company. And it's hard. You got to have branding, you got to have marketing, you got to have everybody on the team involved. You got to have input. Because no pillar is more important than, I got this company in Cleveland I work with. They're the biggest HVAC carrier dealer in the Midwest. And you got the customer service side, and you got the sales side, and you got the warehouse side, and you got all these different pillars. Well, guess what? The warehouse has the DC, we call it the DC. They have become the premier part of the organization. Everyone's like, the warehouse? Right? We know what kind of stigma goes along with the warehouse. Well, guess what? The warehouse has become the premier pillar within the organization, not sales, not customer service. But now they're trickling that down into other parts of the organization, and they're reaching out because they know how important it is if we got a fleet going out from the sales side, and then how important the customer service side. It all starts with some pillar within the organization. You got to monitor it. So, with that being said, what kind of questions do you have? What kind of thoughts do you have? Are you able to leave here today with something tangible that you can take back to your organization? Even if, like, when I teach somebody how to shoot a shotgun, I say to them, you got to tell me 2 things you're leaving here with today that you know are going to help you down the road. Are you leaving here with some concrete examples that hopefully you can use within your organization? Because if not, it's pointless. Yes? No? Getting to know their vision outside of that compensation. What else?
Keeping up with
linking up with different recruitment channels. It's huge because guess what? Like, I drive by so many facilities weekly. I'm like, man, I wonder what's inside those four walls. Well, that right there is a $1 billion company. That's a Department of Defense contractor who's doing F-35 helmets and suits for the Navy or whatever. Oh, shoot, and that's right in my backyard? And they're a secret? If I'm them and I got a now hiring sign out front, how am I the best kept secret when I'm doing something that cool? What else? Any other takeaways? How many of you right now think you have a strong workforce development model in place at your company or a decent one that you can add some of this to? Right? So I leave you with this, and these are words that I live by. Specific focus equals specific results. Vague focus equals vague results. If it's not written down, or if it's not in a plan, it's never going to get done. I meet so many people every day. Oh man, we could be banging out so much work right now, but we don't have talent. Okay, cool. What are you doing? Well, I posted a job on Indeed. So did everyone else. You have to be strategic. The best football teams, the best wrestling teams, they're strategic. They have a plan. The best companies, they have a plan. And something you might want to look into is the SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation. They do have some money out there for training dollars. And I promise you, it's not a ton of paperwork. Every community has a SBDC office. They also have business plan advisory. When I started my business, I used all their free services. This is great. Any like specific questions or yes?
You know, when you're hiring, if someone comes in and talking about their vision or that's vision, how do you recommend handling when their expectations of their vision is so far above the position they're applying for?
Right. So, yeah, it's a great question. And that's it. Like, hey, you know what? I love it. I love that you have that vision. And if your discipline matches your vision, you'll get there as a leader. Like, I'll tell you, and this is me probably being a little too candid, but I have a little chip on your shoulder. Dad was a truck driver. Mom worked in a salon. Nothing was given in life. Nothing. Started working in 7th grade. Mowing lawns, singing Christmas carols throughout the neighborhood, getting paid this, that. But I always had a vision. So if their discipline's matching their vision, then keep rolling with it. Like, and use it as that. Like, think of all the college football players out there that want to be professionals. If I have a college football player and they tell me they want to be a pro, that's pretty easy. Your discipline isn't matching your vision. You told me you want to be a pro football player, but guess what? You're not even going to class right now. You got in a fight at a fraternity party. You just went from being a $30 million first-round draft pick because you got a felony to not even getting drafted. So, you know, as much as that vision may be like kind of crazy, just keep using it to your advantage, I think. Yeah, I have a ton of books and a ton of resources, and that's a great question. I have evaluation documents. When you evaluate an employee or a colleague, you don't need to spend millions of dollars on the coolest platform or 50, 60,000, let's be honest. All you need is a nice 2-page document that gets to the point, that understands, and you use it. Like, you do your entry meeting with them, and this was their vision. And then you have a hard file on that person, so that when it comes time for formal evaluation time, you can give a shout out on the great work they've been doing, and you appreciate how they've always, they're that relentless colleague. Or you could say, look, you're an energy vampire. You're sucking the life out of me. You've missed. And it's a really easy document. So what I'll try and do is get those documents on books, forms. That's a great question. You know what I'll try and do is send it to the RCAT organization, and then that way they can distribute out resources. Is that cool? Great questions. Anything else? Anything that, yes.
So I'm my first guy in that stage, I'm trying to build what would be like your first what step more
What? So you hired your first colleague, right, or employee, and he or she's full-time, field or in-house? Field. So you're asking me what would be my So do you have, from the business development side, do you have business coming in, would you say? So you got business coming in, so I got to figure out how to keep this guy, right? So how am I going to figure out how to keep this guy? I'm going to sit down with him and I want to know his vision, right? I really do, because like I said, everything always goes back to vision. If I know somebody's vision, like, I want to be able to be the best damn dad I can be. I want to be able to go on vacations. I want to be able to spend the money that I spend on shooting. Without my career, I can't do that stuff. So if I can understand his vision, the other thing too, though, you want to allow professional development for that person. Like, hey, let him in on some of the stuff, because you're small enough that, hey, if this guy can help you out a little bit more and he becomes that relentless colleague that we talked about and not a diva and not an energy vampire, then.
Well, that was a conversation. So my background is not.
Yeah.
And his background is not. Yes. But it's one of those things. It took me a minute to try to get to speed. So you have works in pipeline. Spending a lot of time next month.
Yeah. And you're doing all the work yourself, the organization. So you're probably going to want to eventually pick up another individual, because you're running the administrative side too, right? Which is no joke. Plus you're in the field, so you may have to spend a little more than you thought on the beginning. I remember when I gave up my salary and started my business, I took the parachute off and I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I just gave up that salary to start. No paycheck, no parachute. And I think that's where you are right now. And just go kill it, man. I mean it. And be relentless. Like, everyone in here that started a business, you're going to fall on your face how many times, and you're going to learn lessons every single time. But I would say feedback, entry meeting, understanding that person's vision. Because, hey, if our visions are on the same page now, if his vision is like, I had a meeting, I said, what do you like to, I like to drink. I like girls. I'm like, okay, so outside of that though, any vision? No, not really. Well, I got to dig deep with this guy, because if he's 28 years old and that's his thought process, then I got to help him understand his perspective. There's a lot more out there in this world that you could have. So it's really key. It's all about people. Yeah. That's a great idea. Yep. Incentivize it.
make some more, and then also see would you move into that role?
It builds his confidence too.
And again, my cost also, so I want to pay him something else.
Well, that's what they got structured so far. It's qualified inspections, putting it in the CRM. That's the gift. That's my money in your pocket for every qualified inspection.
Yeah. That's a good way.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe you can give them more. You guys are here a couple days, so maybe you can give them some more in-depth on that. What else? Clear benchmarks.
What are your tasks, previous tasks, where did that deviation work? That feedback, you feedback again, feedback, you go, hey, yeah, this is what, guidance, we were like, I got this, perhaps, like that. Members of employees are like that, doing all this part of that, and making sure that they have reached their task, that you're in this final of this, you know, that you don't have to not have for that.
And that comes back to job description and evaluation.
Make sure you have that feedback. We might do whatever it is as far as like, hey, you do this, or for you, and for you as well. I make sure you're getting that as well as you. That's
I like it. That's great feedback. Great feedback. So it comes down to kind of job descriptions, evaluation. It's all about the life cycle of an employee, from job description to interviewing to evaluation to separation. You're going to have to separate from colleagues at some time too. I always whenever I have to separate from a colleague, I do let them leave with dignity. I tell them, hey, here's 3 things that you've gotten done while you've been here, but unfortunately, I got to let you go because you just spent $400 on company boots on the company credit card without it being discussed at all, right? And they weren't even work boots. What else? Any other questions? Anything come to mind? No? Well, I'll be here if I'm going to stay after for a little bit. I thank you for engaging in the conversation. I know sometimes these aren't the most engaging, but I appreciate your feedback. I'll stick around for questions afterwards. Yes? Yes.
Well, but the recruitment stage is it best to go to like a job fair or something like that, or how do you, a new company to bring in somebody that's not in the recruitment industry, and tell them like, hey, like just you list the incentives, or do you go to those job fairs?
I think in the recruitment stage, I always say it's anarchy. There really are no rules, are there? Right? If I want somebody who's worked for another company and he's that good, I'm going to go talk to him and just say, hey, look, I want to have a conversation with you. I know you're doing really well at XYZ company. I got a number I want to bring you over here for. That sucks, but it's the reality, right? Right? If I see someone at a gas station, hey man, looks like you're in the trades, you could tell. You know. You happy where you're at? Kind of. You willing to listen to what I have? Yeah. Here's my card with that QR code, and that goes right to my contact page. If you're hiring and you have a shop, you need to put walk-in interviews welcome out front. You put that sign out. Guess what? They don't know if they're driving by what's going on in there. You need to post ads on Facebook. You need to post ads on Instagram. Now, all these free resources that are out there, and you got to find time to you have to make contact within 24 hours. Anytime you get an inquiry, you got to make contact within 24 hours because they are ready to start, and a company will put them on the books in 4 or 5 days. You have to be aggressive. So there's really no rules to the game. Your radar just constantly has to be on. But I think there are some things you can do. You can build strategic partnerships. Like I said, like in Cleveland, I work with the Latino Construction Program. I work with the Urban League. I work with all the career tech centers. So those are good filters. All right. What else? Does that help a little bit? Okay.
Is there information in there about how they view benefits versus straight up salary? Does that change at all?
Yeah. It's, people don't understand. Like in general, I don't understand benefits. I really don't. Like I'm on my wife's benefits package, and before that I was in public service. So when you're in public service, everything's pretty much handed to you. I think one of the things that is confusing with anyone under the age of like 25 or 26, if they're still on their parents' plan, explain to them what a benefits package looks like. So if I'm paying benefits for you plus this rate, your package hourly is really, boom. I think it's big. Anything else? Because it is a package rate. You're paying that. Or if you have a 401 that you're doing matching up to X%, that's added value that you're bringing. If you want to become a superintendent with my company, or we have professional development money available to you. It's all part of the plan. What else? Anything else? Exactly right.
Very autonomous about the field is best. You can identify what you think best fits your or it doesn't matter if the guy needs to be a chef or if you have the intangibles you want to learn and adapt, that person wants to understand that. Then you can kind of guide them. But really honestly, you can teach anybody food things, but those intangibles and immersion, that's not something you can teach everything. Especially in this workforce, a lot of people are cross-trained. They may be working in the office and accountants and say, I want to do it. So, it's not that it can't happen. You just have to make sure that person has those qualities that you're looking for. Teach things along the way. If you have somebody who doesn't have the right qualities, it doesn't matter how much effort, time, energy, money you waste on them, they're never going to get to spot. Those are the big things we can take on with workers, especially like when you're hiring for the commercial side. Obviously, commercial really is, it's just like residential, however, there's a limited market for personnel, especially when you're like project managers. So you have to kind of look at the person as a whole and say, well, I think this person can grasp the task, and I know I can use this specific. So that's been for us kind of something to try to learn as far as like, what do I want in a person? Just like you would work with a client. I can coach them, teach them, I can make them.
I like that. And before I let you guys go today, I want to just say one more thing. Retention. Sneak attack your colleagues 8 times a year. If it's National Donut Day, bring in donuts. If it's opening day for the Houston Astros, maybe buy a camo snapback Richardson hat with the Houston Astros logos and hook your colleagues up. If it's National Guacamole Day, have a guacamole bar or something like that. 8 times a year. The reason why is because if I have that person on board and they're looking to go to another company, one of the things I might think about is, wow, this is the first time I've ever worked with a company that showed some type of engagement towards me, and I don't know if I want to leave that. Yeah, they're offering me $1 more an hour, but man, I could tell these people really care. They do the small things. They put a Starbucks card in my card on National Coffee Day or whatever. So those little things, and you got to schedule them out 8 times a year, or else you'll be like, oh wait, I forgot. It's Halloween is tomorrow and we didn't do anything yet. So those little things, 8 times a year, 8 touch points along the way. Really, really key. Anything else? I want to be conscious of time. All good? Well, thank you so much for having me. This is my first time to Houston. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, so it's cool to see this city. And last night it was great engaging with people. And if you have any questions, feel free to come up and stay after and chat, all right? Have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you. You're welcome.